All right, everyone, welcome to ECH Postgame Live, presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall, here for game 2 of the season. Feels a lot better than last night, doesn't it, everyone? Welcome in, welcome to the stream. I was looking forward to doing this. Again, it felt like things were going right for the Kraken. They finally got it done. They finished off a game. Absolutely great to see, and I can see everyone is thrilled in chat. Oh man, Patrick with a woot, Medeiros, Kraken dub, Stratic like the stream. Yeah, let's get it on that early. Like the stream. Hunter, did we find? Yeah. All right, so we'll get it through everyone's excitement first. Like I said last night, the Kraken had an opportunity for redemption in this game. They had a chance to right all the wrongs of last night and ultimately have a successful road trip and get 3 out of 4 points to start the season. I mean, there were a lot of opportunities to come out of this feeling good about the whole road trip, and they did it. They put in a 60-minute effort. They closed out the lead. Just exactly what you want to see in this effort on the second half of a back-to-back, no less, against the LA Kings. So yeah, I mean, just have to be really happy with the game. We'll kind of get into the details and everything. First, want to shout out our sponsor, Queen Anne Beer Hall. Had an awesome watch party there last night for the game. There are going to be plenty more this season. I mean, it's a great place to watch a Kraken game. I mean, it was rocking for the Mariners game earlier today. I mean, they know how to host a sporting event. So yeah, shout out Queen Anne Beer Hall. Thanks. Oh, get the camera focused. There we go. Thank you so much for the support. Everyone, if you have a chance to go, check out Queen Anne Beer Hall. Always show them some love on social media too. That's big. It helps us. It helps them. So yeah, thank you, Queen Anne Beer Hall, for sponsoring the post-game live. Let's hop right into chat because I am eager to do that. Hunter, did we find our new rival, RJ? Very good question. I think we might have. As we know, the rivalry, it's never who we always think it's going to be. We talked about maybe the Canucks, maybe Vegas, or even the Ducks with a lot of talent there. That could still happen. But hey, this is how it happens. A rivalry building organically like this, where, let's be honest, the Kings, they engaged in some loser hockey at the end. My buddy from Sinbin.Vegas, Ken, likes to call that loser hockey, when you're down late in a game and you just start kind of punching people, you start taking runs at people. That was some loser hockey by the Kings at the end. But it's good that the Kraken are in a position to have loser hockey played against them, because that means you're winning. It means you're frustrating the other team, and that's absolutely what the Kraken did tonight. You could tell the Kings were upset. They were frustrated by the end of that game because they couldn't break through, because the Kraken weren't giving them anything easy. I tweeted a video of Will Borgen knocking down Adrian Kempe at the line. He wasn't even trying to make a play with the puck. He was just dumping the puck in, but he couldn't even do that without Will Borgen putting him on his backside. That's the kind of game the Kraken played tonight. They were difficult to play against. And hey, that's how you spawn rivalries. So happy to see that. Cameron, yeah, bit chippy at the end, eh? Exactly. Just talked about it. That's what happens when you frustrate the other team. And we saw a lot of last season, the Kraken being the team that was frustrated. Not anymore tonight. They did a great job in frustrating the Kings. And again, that's exactly what you want. Stratic dance party. Yes, it is the first ECH dance party of the season. I'll dance a little bit more when Dylan comes on to join us. By the way, Dylan is at the game. He was at crypto.com arena. He's probably right now listening to the players and the coaches doing the media availability stuff. Like last night, he will join us in a little bit. So looking forward to hearing what Dylan has to say, what the players and the coach had to say about that game. Medeiros, Willie Borgen is very special to me. He's very special to all of us. He had a fantastic game tonight. Great pinch that led to the first goal. And that's something that we talked about on the podcast too, on the deep dive, where when he's pinching in, I mean, Dylan brought out the whiteboard to show it. He's able to create this numerical advantage because he just doesn't lose those battles. He is so strong on the puck that he will win, and he will get the puck down low to the forwards. And you saw Tanev, poke that puck in from a bad angle there. Barbara with a woohoo. Kraken Hawk, what a game and victory. It was chippy. I think we're starting to build some bad blood with the SoCal teams. Agreed. But I think that's going to be a real fun rivalry for those SoCal road trips. I mean, as someone who grew up a Sharks fan and, was familiar with the SoCal bad blood, I'm happy to see it. You don't need to tell me twice, as far as getting into a rivalry with the Kings. So I am here for it. Let's see. Nathan, let's go. Beneath the pond. No third period collapse. Yes, I mentioned that at the second intermission. This was the Kraken's chance for redemption. They went into the third, up 2 goals, kind of like last night. Very similar opportunity to do what they didn't do last night. And I think they passed the test with flying colors. They learned from the lessons of last night. And that's a great sign for the coaching, for the leadership, not letting those kind of failures continue. So a big win there. And just in the way that it happened, not even just getting the 2 points. Superfly, nice win and 3 points in SoCal. This was one of the most complete games by the Kraken. Agreed. I mean, a full 60-minute effort. And on the second half of back-to-backs, that's huge. And getting the 3 points out of 4 for a road trip, you have to be happy with that starting the season. Walt with a woo, let's go. Z Butler, Wenberg goal. I know he shot the puck, right? Everybody celebrate. Alex Wenberg shot the puck, and guess what? It went in. I mean, he didn't have much of an angle, but you never know. When you throw the puck to the net, good things happen. Sometimes it'll just go right through the goalie's legs, right along the ice, which is exactly what happened. So feel good for Wenberg there as the power play was expiring. Thank you. I mean, it was an inspiring goal. Come on. But feel good for Wenberg there. Elias, let's do a big cat meow. I will let Dylan do that when he gets back on camera, because I know he is going to be happy with Adam Larson's performance tonight. John, Martin Jones from here on out. I don't want to hear anything else. It's Stratic. Martin Jones is very special to me. Yeah, we'll give Groovy another chance, but yeah, huge game from Martin Jones tonight. What I tell you last night, he's money in LA. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but he is just awesome at, crypto.com arena, Staples Center, whatever you want to call it. He is fantastic in that building, has been his whole career. I did predict that he would get a shutout before the season started in this game. Not quite, but I mean, he played really, really well. So way to step up Martin Jones. That's exactly what the Kraken need after their goaltending last season. Jen, holy crap, Borgs. I know. Will Borgen, heck of a game. Mike Jones for number 1 keeper. Wow. Okay. A lot of Martin Jones love here. Like to see it. Patrick, Matty Point. Yep. He keeps the point streak rolling. I mean, got to think, like, how many points are we going to see from him this season? I mean, he's already got 3 in 2 games. It just feels like he gets his automatic point every single game. I just wonder how long he can keep that going. With how good he looks, I wouldn't be surprised to just see it continue. But yeah, another good game from Matty Beniers. Let's see. Cameron, that slash on Larson was a bit cheap. Luckily, he was fine. I mean, yeah, it was uncalled for. Doughty, giving him a tap there. I don't know that it was, all that hard. I think maybe, I mean, Dylan's going to be all over me for this. And again, sorry in chat at this point. I think he may have played it up a little bit, if we're being honest. But hey, got them a power play. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he was okay though. I mean, you never know. Like these are strong players, and in the back of the leg, there's no padding there. I'm sure it did sting. Yeah, Walt, this makes up for yesterday so much. Really does, right? Greg, so many good things. Active sticks, crisp passing, besides Jamie and Dunn in their own zone. Yeah, there were a few miscues there. Thankfully, Jones was solid. The Kraken were able to get away with some of those. But most importantly, the team is together already. Loved how that ended. Yeah, seeing everyone stand up for each other in the face of some of that chippy hockey. That's great. You want to see that from the team. And that's something I think that you saw even last season, even though the talent wasn't always there. You saw that the team stuck together. They really played for each other. And you don't see that all the time either. It's not just like every team automatically does that. It's good to see the Kraken sticking together here. Let's see. Kraken Hawk. Anyone else having Jack in the Box victory meal tomorrow, like John and the crew is? I don't know. I might have to hit up Jack in the Box. But I mean, hey, not as good as Queen Anne Beer Hall, right? I mean, Jack in the Box, it may be good for 4 a.m. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Walt, I'd say we won the fight of the buzzer as well. Yeah, I mean, did you see Will Borgen on top of the other player at the buzzer? I didn't see who that was, but the other player came up on him, and Borgen ended up on top. He did well there. Let's see. All right, scrolling back into the chat here. Let's see. Greg, how many better than Grew starts would it take for Jones to be number one? Will they not do that due to Grew's paycheck? Grubauer's the starter. It would take a lot. I mean, you want to kind of ride the hot hand. That's how goaltending works, but I think it would take a lot, to have Jones really get more starts in. I think the team still believes in Grubauer, and for good reason. With looking at his stats over the course of his career. Let's see. Rebecca, Lars' revenge goal in front of Dylan. Love to see it. Love to see it. I know I can't wait to get Dylan on here. Everyone, stay tuned for Dylan coming to join us. He's going to have some great insights and some great celebrations from Adam Larson's game. Stratic, what is this team? Last 2 games, including preseason, plenty of rest equals third period collapse. Second game of a back-to-back, full 60 minutes. I know it's so different than last year, right? You wouldn't expect it. Tons of rest. And they look tired. Maybe it's just a conditioning thing. You've got to be in the flow of things. We've seen this with teams who have long layovers, whether it's kind of a bye week in the middle of the season or one of those COVID layers from the last few years. I don't know. Teams just their conditioning gets rusty, I guess. You need to be in the rhythm of it. And the Kraken are on the second half of back-to-backs. But it was cool to see tonight because I wouldn't necessarily expect that from him maybe last season. Rebecca and Martin Jones is fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, he plays that kind of tight into the net style, but he's always in good position when he's on his game. I mean, he made a lot of saves right here, right with the middle of his chest, and that's exactly what you want to see when he's playing well. Yeah, Stratic. Martin Jones is a Zen master. Right. I mean, he just looks calm, quiet, collected. Nathan, good question here. How big a difference did the Geeky for right swap make in this game? So, I mean, that's something I figured we would talk about. Certainly, before the game, lots of people were talking about it. Shane Wright, a healthy scratch tonight. Morgan Geeky coming in for him. I don't think it made a huge difference in this game, just given kind of how the fourth lines did. I don't think they played a lot. I could check the ice time, but I do remember seeing that fourth line with Geeky on it. I checked in the third period and they had 0.0 expected goals for, so they weren't getting a whole lot of chances for. They were playing, decent defensively. But I don't know that Shane Wright would have done any worse it's interesting from a development standpoint. And I'll talk with Dylan about this too, what he thinks going forward for Shane Wright in this game. I don't think it made a big difference. Morgan Geeky played 11 minutes, 41 seconds, which is more than Shane Wright played last night. So maybe Hackstall trusted him to play a little bit more. We'll see if we get an answer from Dave on that one, the choice to do the scratch. Let's see. Tom, we got to talk about the hot mic at the end of the broadcast. Forsland was fed up with Eddie's Jack in the Box talk. Okay, can people let me know what happened with the Jack in the Box thing? Because again, I was setting up the stream. I was getting everything ready. Please tell me the Jack in the Box story. What's going on with that one? All right. George, am I just high on Kraken hockey, or was that the best this franchise has ever looked? A full 60 minutes of high intensity. That Tanev, Gord, Eberle line was lights out. It really was. And it's up there with some of the best that they've looked, at any point in franchise history. And like I said, defending a lead, that is the line you want. And they were exactly as advertised. Tanev, Gord, Eberle. We talked about Gord and Tanev being able to play together again this season. That was going to be huge when you're especially in a position defending a lead like that. I mean, it was awesome. They were just buzzing around in the King zone, just cycling and working it around. They couldn't even get the puck out of their own zone. It was fantastic. Burnt Cream, everyone hates LA. Your rival has to believe it is a rivalry. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm with you on that. And certainly the Kings, I think, it's the start. They were the upset team in this game. So I think we could see that button to a rivalry. All right, let's go through chat here. Jack, 44 hits to 28. Hold that, LA. Yeah, the hit stats tonight. The Kraken threw the body a lot. I think it helped kind of wear that Kings group down. That's why you saw them so frustrated at the end of the game, because the Kraken were able to possess the puck and get those hits in. Sometimes you'll see a team lead in hits by that kind of margin. It just means they didn't have the puck all night. This was not one of those games. The Kraken were finishing their checks every opportunity they had. And again, it makes them tough to play against. Michael, what a great night. The Kraken are Pacific Division leaders. Oh, that's awesome. See it on top of the division. I think it's like a tie. Or is it a tie? They have 3 points. Does anyone else have 3? I am checking right now. Are they outright leading the Pacific Division? I mean, not that it matters this early, but still, it's fun. Oh no, okay, Vegas just closed out their game and now they're ahead, so we don't want to talk about that. Medeiros, I'm going off like 5 hours of sleep and a long day. Night all. Enjoy being fourth in the league, second in the conference. Good night, Medeiros. Thank you for joining us for a bit and get some sleep there. Yeah, but thank you for joining in. All right, let's see. Man, again, so many comments in chat. This is awesome to go through. I can't keep up with and read all of them, but this is awesome. We got 105 people in here, which is also a new record for us. Let's keep setting that bar higher every single game. Love to see it. Rebecca, lol, RJ got the moves. Well, thank you. I don't know many that would agree with you there, but I really do appreciate that. Yeah, T. McDermott took one power play to warm up tonight, but overall our power play is looking lethal. Yeah, that first one, yeah, throw that one away. It was a warm-up power play, but it looked great otherwise. It's just night and day from last season. So fun to see. Striatic, I feel like the extra speed of Maddie, Oliver, and Andre is drawing penalties. Like Maddie drawing that penalty, moving his legs off a face-off win. Chef's kiss. Absolutely. And that's something I think we saw really both games too, you know, in the Ducks game, that speed through the neutral zone. I mentioned this on the last post game. The Kraken just have the talent. They have the players to execute a lot of those quick plays through the neutral zone that they were trying to do last season, but couldn't quite get to work because I just think they didn't really have the skill. They didn't have the players to make it work, but it seems like they finally do. And the only option that the opponent has a lot of times is to take a penalty or let the guy go right by you. And a lot of times they're taking the penalties and the Kraken are making them pay, which is what you have to do. Yeah, Michael agreeing. Newfound speed causing serious problems for opponents. Let's see. Patrick, feel like I betrayed the pod by going to 32 tonight. It's all good. I mean, you know, Queen Anne Beer Hall when you can, but you know, 32 Bar and Grill is always still there. It's, you know, it's the official Kraken one, I guess. Let's see. Coop, also, please, for the love of God, someone tell Hackstall to not Galaxy Brain the power play. We are finally scoring in the normal set. Stop messing with it. Yeah, the 5-on-3 was a little odd. I don't like that 2 men behind the net setup they were going with. I just don't know what the plan was there. I assume they had some kind of play they were trying to go for. I couldn't tell what it was. They certainly weren't able to execute it. I'll see what, because they didn't do that in practice when they practiced the 5-on-3. That's a different wrinkle. I have not seen that before. So yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe I can ask Hackstall about that if we see it in practice. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, Dr. Zayas tempers flared. Lol. Yeah, they sure did. T. McDermott, do you realize the Vegas game on Saturday is for first place in the Pacific? Love to see that. You know, get the stakes up high for the Vegas game, even though it's early in the season. Just a good matchup. It feels good to be right there near the top of the standings too. I remember at the end of last year, you know, just being at the bottom or even, you know, kind of having to root for losses at the end there just to go beneath teams. It's not fun. I mean, this is so much better, you know, looking at gaining points, passing teams, being right in the thick of things, even though it's early in the season. All right, let's take a look here. And then, yeah, people asking to explain the Jack in the Box. I'm sure that's down in chat there. I'm sure you have helped me out with that. I will get to the Jack in the Box thing. But right now, going through chat here, Michael, move over Dallas QBs. The real starter competition is the Seattle Kraken net. Again, I don't think we have a goalie controversy yet. I just think we have, you know, we have a really good backup goalie potentially. Like if Martin Jones can get back on his game, we've seen what he can do, you know, in his earlier career with the Sharks. Hopefully you can replicate that outside of Los Angeles. We'll see. But again, if this is a sign of things to come, that's going to bode really well and give Grubauer the time and space he needs to get right. Kraken Hawk, it's so fun to see Turbo's relentless energy play is back. Dude has grit and never gives up. He has to be exasperating to go against. I mean, can you imagine having to play against Brandon Tanev? I wouldn't want to do it. I mean, you just have to move your legs 100% of the time. And even then, you're probably going to lose the battle. It just wears teams down. You saw that with the Kings tonight. Kind of thing the Kraken were really missing at the tail end of last season. Let's see. Eric, where do I petition for Borg and Susie as second pair? I thought they had a really solid game once they cleaned up the penalties early, because there were a couple undisciplined penalties in the first, but after that, they really cleaned things up. They looked good. I'm a fan of that D pair. We know they're buddies kind of off the ice too. I think that has to have a positive impact on the chemistry. Yeah, Borg and Susie. As far as second, third D pair, I think Hackstall feels like he has these three pairs he can just kind of roll with right now. I think the real thing to root for is just for everyone to stay healthy, because that's going to help. Rebecca Borgen loves a takedown. He sure does. Aaron, good day, everyone. Hi there, Aaron. Shoeshine, as a Sharks fan, you don't want Jones as number one. He's a good backup, but gets overworked easily as number one. Yeah, he did run into some burnout. The Sharks overworked him a lot, but that's something we don't have to worry about with the Kraken. The Kraken aren't going to play Martin Jones 60 plus games a season. Just don't even have to worry about that. Superfly, I really like Jones today, but the structured defensive approach of the team, unlike last night, helped him as well. Exactly. And I'm glad you brought this up, Superfly, because I wanted to talk about this too. I thought the Kraken made things a lot more manageable for Martin Jones tonight than they did for Philip Grubauer last night. I'm talking about not much traffic in front of the net, clear sight lines. I mean, there was a good play on the 4-on-4 in the third period where a Kings player, I forget who it was, was kind of able to walk into the slot a little bit, but everybody cleared out from the front of the net, and Martin Jones was able to clearly see the shot and deal with it. Those are the kind of things that help a goalie play at his best. And I think you saw some traffic in front of Grubauer that he had to deal with last night. You saw some odd man rushes, and I think they really cleaned that up tonight. And if you just give the goalie that opportunity to stay calm, stay solid in the net, he can build momentum throughout the course of a game. And that's exactly what Martin Jones did tonight. Let's see. Team Spindles, 8 goals from 8 different players. That's a good observation. I love that. That's depth scoring. That's the kind of thing they did not have last season. Awesome to see it. And the new additions are doing well, bringing that depth, pushing everyone kind of down into their proper spots in the lineup. Super chat from Sergeant Pickles. First win. Dang, it feels good. And turbo. Yes, absolutely. Feeling great. Thank you for the super chat, Sergeant Pickles. And I don't know, I feel like you put that energy out there because Dylan just let me know he's ready. I don't know. I think that might have done it. So, all right, everyone, we're going to load Dylan, and we'll be right back. Let's get Dylan going on the screen here. All right, everyone, we have Dylan here. Dylan, how are you feeling? Better than yesterday, I imagine.
Yeah, no, that was a fantastic game. Yeah, I mean, how could we not, right? First win of the season. Team played fantastic. Power play continued to be a big factor for them. And yeah, I mean, they were able to come into this building, out physical the Kings, a team that, by all accounts should be more physical than them, get 40 plus hits on the night. Never, there was a couple times maybe it looked like they weren't the more physical team, but at the end of the day, I mean, they got it done, right? Getting goals like in front of the nets and all that kind of stuff. All the little things that you have to do, especially coming off of a game like the one that you had yesterday, right? I think this was the perfect kind of response game. And I think that's, it's another thing that shows the growth that this group has over the one last year.
Yeah, agreed. And I think it just felt like a much more complete game. I'm curious for the atmosphere, Dylan. What was it like being in the building there? I've been to plenty of Kings games, with an eye on the road team in my life,
Yeah.
what was the atmosphere like there? And it seemed kind of chippy on the ice. Did it have that, kind of atmosphere with the fans as well? We got some comments about maybe a rivalry brewing. I don't know. How much
Yes.
did you feel on the Kings fan side of it? That's what I'm getting at.
I feel like that's certainly a possibility as far as the on ice stuff. As far as the Kings fans go, I mean, RJ, it was a Kings game, right? Lower bowl, not really that full, pretty silent, cheap seats. That's where all the action's at. That's where all the the big fans are. That being said, I mean, last night at Honda Center, that place was loud. Everybody was engaged. It was 17,000 people in unison going after the Kraken in their building. Here, there wasn't really any of that. So yeah, I don't know, but that's also LA. It's just kind of how games
Yep.
go here. So
Yep. Somehow I'm not surprised. So
yeah,
before we get onto the players and the coach and everything for the media stuff, I want to read a couple comments. Walt says Dylan looking cute as usual, and
thank you.
Rebecca says ask Dylan owns shirts with buttons.
No, it's just another quarter zip like yesterday.
All right, there we go. Don't worry. Don't panic, everyone. Don't
I
worry.
was
There's
gonna
no
say,
buttons here.
all through college, really, I wore lots of shirts with buttons, but I never buttoned them. It was always like a tank top underneath, and then like a Hawaiian shirt or something nice like that, but unbuttoned over top.
I will say we just peaked at 109 viewers right as you zip down there. So just throwing that out there.
Do we have to add an OnlyFans on top of the Patreon?
I didn't say it. All right. So Nathan also says Dylan could beat GTA in less than 24 hours, I bet.
Probably. I've never actually played a GTA game.
Well, I
Throw
bet
that
you
one
could
out
just
there.
first try beat it in under 24 hours. Okay, let's
How hard
move on.
I was gonna say, how hard could it be? I live in LA. I know how to drive recklessly because you have to.
Absolutely. All right. So let's get some use out of that press pass
Yeah.
now. What was the atmosphere like, after the game, kind of with the players, with the coach? I imagine again, more optimistic than yesterday. What was kind of the message about tonight?
Yeah, everybody was just all smiles. Everybody's happy. Everybody was joking around in the locker room. I wasn't ever able to really get the like post game media availability tweets out with like the quotes and stuff because like it was so loud in the locker room, just everybody having a good time celebrating their first win of the season that like the transcript is a mess. Trying to pull a quote from it is a nightmare. But yeah, everybody felt really, really good. Hackstall kicked things off with a joke. You know what I mean? Like you knew it was going to be a good day then, and yeah, everybody was really feeling it. It really felt like after last night, they wanted to have this performance. I think they kind of got done what they wanted to get done in this one, which was, hey, let's go out there, let's be physical, let's kind of grind it out if we have to. They didn't totally have to, but they were prepared to do it, and then they got things done on the power play again, kind of just showing that growth and what the new additions have meant for that. And yeah, and at the end of the day, we talk a lot about everything yesterday, but the bottom line is they still got a point yesterday. So they're coming out of this road trip back-to-back games with 3 points. I mean, I don't know that there was really a time last year that we wouldn't have been like, oh my gosh, everything's turning around. This team's amazing now, right? Like if that had been the case. So now that they're 2 games in, they've got 3 points. You handled the back-to-back on the road to start the season. Yeah, I think everybody is feeling fantastic, and they should.
Yeah, absolutely. That you have to be happy with that. And that's kind of the first thing I said. 3 points out of 4. Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Lindsay's got a question for you here. Dylan, did they have the Davy Jones hat in the locker room, and who got it tonight? #insider.
That is a good question. I didn't see it.
Okay.
So I don't know if they did that. Like it was kind of like a mess just all down there because you're in the bottom of the stadium and this is like a big place with a lot of stuff going on. Like as I'm speaking, I'm looking down at the seats kind of below me, and they're getting ready to like push them all back and everything.
Right.
And so we had to wait outside the locker room for a while, just while everybody was getting done whatever they need to get done, and Hackstall talked with them and stuff. So it's possible if they did it, it was in there. But yeah, I didn't notice it. Sorry.
No, all good. So a couple more things I want to talk to you about. Adam Larson, I mean,
Yes.
come on, just the floor is yours. Adam Larson tonight, go.
What, we didn't all have a short-handed goal on our bingo cards for him? A short-handed empty net goal, much less. So I thought he played another really solid game, especially for this Kraken team right now that, again, I think we can say defense kind of an issue for them. We could talk about the people in particular, or maybe even just the person in particular if you guys want to. But Adam Larson, just steady Eddie. He gets it done back there. He's able to shut down the opposing team. He's able to just take care of business. He's able to hold the blue line, like I kind of pointed out in the short that I released earlier today on YouTube. That's just what he does night in, night out. Is there a player too that, he probably wishes he has back? Yeah, probably. But every player goes through that. And it was just a really, really fantastic night, and glad that he wasn't too hurt after that slash.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad he was okay there. Was that on the side you were on? How good a view did you have of that? I mean, I know the press box is way back there.
I know, it's like a mile away from the ice. Yeah, it was on the side we were on, so it wasn't really easy to see because it was kind of below the dasher board then and everything. So didn't quite like get to see it live. Like we just saw him go down and beat down, and then watching the replays and stuff. That is one. Anybody who's ever played hockey, right? You take something to the back of your knee like that, it stings. You don't just easily pop up and skate away from something like that. So glad he was all right, and glad he was able to come back and play as well as he did.
Yep. All right. So let's turn back to chat here for a bit. Shoeshine saying scratching right was the right move due to being a kid. Don't want him playing back-to-backs for his first 2 games. That's another thing we talked about a little bit before you got here, but not too much at length. I wanted to kind of get your take on this. Scratching Shane Wright, that was kind of a surprise move before the game. I mean, what do you think of that decision? 1, how much impact did it have on this game? And then 2, what do you think about it for his development long-term?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll start with kind of what Hackstall said about it, which was that they didn't enter this road trip with a plan. So this wasn't like some long-term thing where this was the idea that they had for him. But I think based on kind of what he said, because you guys can all like listen on YouTube if you want the exact wording and whatnot when they upload it, when the team does. But I got the impression that they thought, this game's going to be against LA. It's going to be a tough physical game. Like I said, it looked like it, right? The Kraken were out here to be physical and everything. And I think they thought, back-to-back games to start this kid's career, going into a tough building to play in and a tough team to play against and a team that's going to be physical, and we're preparing for that physicality. I think because, he mentioned wanting to bring in Morgan Geekie. I think that's where you want to bring in that big body, somebody who's used to dealing with that stuff, grinding it out in the bottom 6 against tough teams like this. My guess is that's really what was going on.
I could see that. And I think, knowing how this game turned out, I mean, that's a hostile environment to potentially throw Shane Wright into. And not that I don't think he can handle it, because I think, certainly anything like on the ice skill wise, he's, he belongs there. But when it's, with that kind of play where you have guys like, you look at the Larson slash where you have someone just kind of unprompted, just taking a shot at a guy, you don't want Shane Wright to be on the other end of that at this point in his career. Not that you can't play scared with your lineup, but I think, having a Morgan Geekie there can help you in that kind of game. And I know Hackstall took a lot of flack for that before the game. I saw all the mentions on Twitter, but I have to say he comes out of this looking okay, even though it was a bold move.
Right, I think so too. And let's be real, right? I don't know how much of that is Hackstall's decision. I don't know what the breakdown is between Ron Francis and stuff. I got to assume most of the time that's Hackstall's decision. But on a night like this, right at the beginning of your first round pick's career and all of that, I got to think that was more of an organizational decision, and they talked with a lot of people about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I do think you want to have the collaboration there, even though I'm sure the coach gets the final say in all the lineup decisions. So want to drop to the bottom of the chat for a sec because Zoidberg is here. The famous Zoidberg Kraken. Hooray! First win of the season. Woo, 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 woo. So thank you for the comment there, Zoidberg. All right, so let's go to Sergeant Pickles studs and duds. All right, you ready for these?
Yeah.
All right, hello again, friends. Studs. Maddie, Turbo, Big Cat, Jonesy, Forsland, and Edzo. Chef's kiss. That's a lot of studs. Duds. Lemieux is a punk. Ad board still causing epilepsy. Missing goals 2-4. Driving to SeaTac.
Yeah, it's yeah, and then I think there was one about Nathan's got one, Drew Dowdy as well.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
see that. Yep.
those are all good. Those are all pretty good duds there. You can't argue with those. Yeah, I mean on the stud side, Martin Jones, really solid game. I know Jaden Schwartz was asked about that and just how comfortable everybody felt with him back there. He just he was solid in all the ways that he needed to be throughout the night, right? So good game for Martin Jones. First game as a Kraken. It was a good one for him. Big Cat, we kind of just talked about. Matty Beniers just continuing things, right? I mean, it's kind of unbelievable the way he just manages to get things done, and not just getting on the score sheet, but just all the plays that he's able to make, kind of defensively, offensively on the forecheck, all of it. It's just so good, and just how smart he is with the puck, especially on the power plays. Maybe not 5-on-3. I have no idea why he was drifting down so low on that 5-on-3. That made like no sense to me. He took away all of his passing angles all by himself. I don't know why he did that. But other than that, Matty Beniers, another good game. Again, I guess we could just chalk it up to the fact that he's a 19-year-old rookie. Like at some point, we have to acknowledge that. So we'll say that for the 5-on-3. But yeah, I mean, everybody played a good game. I thought Yanni Gourde had a much better game than yesterday. I still don't feel like he's Yanni Gourde all the way. That's something I was kind of curious to ask everybody about. Is just how are we feeling about Yanni Gourde? Because right now, like yesterday, didn't notice him at all. Like it was impossible to notice him. Tonight there was a couple times you could notice him, but I still felt that like I don't know. I felt like there should be a little bit more either scoring or energy or something coming from that third line, particularly against a better team like this one that they played tonight. And then the Wenberg line, I felt like all those guys played well individually, but I didn't feel like at any point they were playing together. And that's obviously something that's just going to come with time, but that is something that I'm interested to watch moving forward is how quickly can that line gel, because at some point, again, it's awesome that the power play is working. We cannot count on the power play to score all of our goals and get us out of all of the trouble. At some point, 5-on-5, this Kraken team needs to start looking a little bit more dangerous and not just kind of control play, but look dangerous while controlling play. And so that's something I'm curious to look at, moving forward.
Yeah, I think part of that might be a factor too of the Kings just kind of being a more skilled team and them not looking as dangerous against maybe like a Ducks lineup. On Yanni Gordon, that line, I don't think they had the kind of offensive pop that we'd want to see from them. I like them in a few shifts in the third, kind of defending the lead, but we know they can do that. Just making sure nothing happens against them. But yeah, I do think there's there's some room there. Quick question, Dylan, is there some artillery going off behind you? Is there, what's going on?
They're putting down all the seats, like I said, to start moving everything back, all the, get all the bleachers back in so that they can change what's going on here. Sorry,
makes
everybody.
Sense. All right, no, all good. And then speaking of the studs there, John and Edzo were mentioned as well. And there was something at the end of the broadcast, which I missed because I was setting up for the stream. And I asked everyone to explain this to me, what happened. There was some kind of Jack in the Box incident. So I'm certainly saying here, he says, Jack in the Box thing, not much to it. Edzo said he hadn't been to one for about 30 years, asked Forsland to take him to one when they got home to Seattle. Edzo just kept it the joke a little bit too long. And then Tom adds, Forsland was pissed at Eddie right before they went on Postgame. I'm sick of it. Let's get it over with. I'm not mad yet, but I'll get there. Let's talk about Vegas. No more Jack in the Box.
All right.
Although I will say, you want to talk about Vegas, if their number one center takes a penalty, I think you're going to be forced to talk about Jack in the Box. So, all right, that was bad. Sorry, everybody.
That was unbelievable.
All right, that was bad. That was bad. Oh man, maybe Allison would be proud of that one.
Yes. But
okay.
otherwise, I guess interesting to hear. But it's still a feeling out process, right?
Exactly. Just getting the chemistry together.
It takes a lot of time to build that chemistry and get that rapport back and forth with each other and stuff. So
Yep. Rebecca said, "Lol, I love Forsland." Yeah, it was fun, the back and forth there. Lindsay, LMAO, RJ, the setup for that joke was flawless. I laughed at least. Okay, I got one person. Ty is RJ, amazing. Stratic, that journey was Lucan-esque. Okay, there we go.
You go.
That's all I needed to hear. All right, so let's go back and chat and maybe talk some hockey a little bit more. Let's see. Stratic pointing out, yeah, on the right thing. Geeky put in a minute on the PK, which is something Wright isn't going to do. A fair fight for ice time. That's a feather in Morgan's hat. Yeah. Agreed. And I think that's what Axel has to treat it as. And you can't blame him for saying, look, this is a fair fight for ice time. We're trying to win hockey games. And in this particular game, that's a fit that we saw.
Right. And then this goes all the way back to draft night, right? Like if Shane Wright's going to be a guy who's going to be scratched sometimes and he's going to be on the fourth line and all of that stuff, do we want him with the Kraken? Right? Like,
I think it's a conversation you have to start. If this continues for a few games, if you're getting 6 minutes of ice time out of 2 games, I think we can all agree that's not good for his development. You got to choose one or the other. I think it's a conversation we got to start having. And I don't, as you've talked about in the past, I don't think it's the worst thing, to let him season, send him back down for another season. But it's something to monitor very closely.
Right. I did have the thought. Do you think that maybe they're keeping him up, they're getting him used to the lifestyle, kind of get him that cup of coffee, and on the back end, they're trying to work out, maybe a new team for him to go to, like maybe a trade away from Kingston, because Kingston's not like,
maybe that would be the ultimate hockey thing to happen.
You know what I mean?
Where you use your junior contacts and try and set something up. That would be something I wouldn't be surprised afterward.
Kind of get him on a team where you can, center a top line with other NHL, drafted guys or top NHL pick prospects, and that a team that's going to have, a decent postseason run and everything, instead of him kind of dragging Kingston along with him the whole time.
Yeah, I think that could be beneficial for him. I mean, we saw how good it was for Matty Beniers to play with all those talented players at Michigan the season before coming over. If you can get him in a situation playing with really good players and good surroundings, I think it could be good for him.
Right. I mean, the whole point is to get him better. And if he's going to be playing with guys that are not going to be thinking at an NHL level or doing all of that stuff, then it doesn't benefit you sending him back really, at the end of the day, even though he's getting more ice time than he would be in Seattle. It doesn't mean that's quality ice time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Rebecca, do we need to get hashtag free Shane Wright trending? Not yet.
I was gonna say, I didn't totally see, but like, was it like totally brutal? Did all of Montreal come after us?
A lot of Philly fans. There were a lot of Philly fans. They didn't come after us. They were just like, "Oh, he got hackstalled." I think they were upset about some previous treatment of their young star players and maybe being scratched and whatnot. So Philly fans actually were the number one that I saw. Montreal was actually kind of tame tonight.
Interesting. All right.
Well done, Habs fans. There are only a few of you. Nathan, trade right to the Thunderbirds. If you could trade him to the Dub, that'd be pretty sweet.
If it was possible, that would be amazing.
Yep. Stratic. Leon Draisaitl went back down to junior after a trade for a Memorial Cup run after the Oilers set up just that kind of trade, and that was the best thing for Leon, and now he's a Hart and Art Ross guy. Again, I could totally see it. We've seen examples in the past. Yep. Yeah, Nathan, T-Birds are a fun team that would sell a lot of tickets at ShoWare. Oh my gosh, ShoWare would be sold out every single night.
Nuts, yeah.
Yeah, if he could be there, but unfortunately, that is not possible given the rules. Let's see.
Yes, Alex, I agree.
Yeah, the Montreal fans are probably still hungover from the celebration of beating Toronto. Yeah, I mean, it's a impressive win to start, and I mean, they leafed. So, let's see. Rolling through the chat here. And people talking about kind of the goaltending split. I've seen a few different comments on that. A lot of pro Martin Jones stuff. I mean, people are ready to hop on the Martin Jones starter
Yeah,
train.
let's go.
I've seen that in chat. Ty adds, yo, chill on Jones. You will be hurt. Ask RJ, he knows. Jones looked like Driegs in net tonight, poised. I'm gonna just see the floor to you here. What do you think about Martin Jones and the goaltending situation?
Look, was that not like the perfect backup goaltending game, right? Come in
Yes,
second night of a
exactly.
back-to-back, played strong, didn't do anything like special or spectacular. I can't think of a single like kind of highlight reel save that he made, but he was just solid, played, he was big, he was in front of the puck, right? And that's sometimes all it takes. And the team, always kind of rallies for those backup netminders, right? We know that Kraken played a really solid game in front of him. They kept his sight lines clear. He was able to just, be where he needed to be. And so if that's going to be the case every time he starts a game, yeah, then start him kind of, more than maybe you planned originally. I don't know that that's going to be the case over the course of a full season. I still think, obviously Grubauer, get him back in there, let him shake off that Ducks game. Again, it wasn't all his fault, certainly not kind of at the beginning. And so, I still think you got to plan on Grubauer being the definitive starter, looking at, 45 plus games and work from there.
Yeah, I think you absolutely have to. If anyone's going to lead you to the playoffs, it's going to be him. Martin Jones, as it was pointed out in the chat earlier too, he had burnout problems in San Jose
He
too.
did.
You don't want to give him too much of a workload. And that's nothing
Right.
against him necessarily. It's just that's how goaltending kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you there.
But it was like a night and day game from the Kraken defense in the sense that like I said, they kept his sight lines open. They weren't allowing guys to be in there for rebounds. They weren't, allowing guys to be in prime shooting spots. They did a really good job. A lot of the times when LA was trying to put on a push, I thought the Kraken did a really good job defensively of making sure that they kept them to the perimeter. And so that the Kings kind of just had to pass it around or take shots from up at the point. They weren't able to really get a lot of their bigger name guys involved in things kind of down low or in the slot. That just never was able to materialize for the Kings tonight. And that's, it speaks a lot to the Kraken's game plan and then the execution by everybody on the ice. Like I said, any goaltender would have had a nice night tonight based on what the Kraken were able to do.
Right. And I talked about the Kraken as a unit making things manageable for Martin Jones. And he took care of business.
Yeah.
All right. So Harley in chat. Hey, nice to see y'all. Hey, welcome back, Harley. Been a while. Quickly tuned in to say hello. Busy evening. Not caught up on the Kraken game. Where'd the comment go? Oh, not caught up on the Kraken game. Great to see comments and Kraken for the W. A better night than previous. Yes, absolutely. And thanks for stopping by, Harley. We appreciate it. All right, looking at chat. Ty Jones had fantastic angles and kept the puck in front of him. No scary rebounds, just strong, sturdy play. Yeah, tonight it was a great example of Martin Jones at his best. We talked about this in the offseason. For those who hadn't seen him already, this is what it looks like, when he's on top of his games. Max Bro, can we admit that Grub is just not confident? He doesn't win one-on-ones. He's just not the guy, and we're trying to make the best of the fact that he gets paid the most, but still. I think we've got to see a game where the Kraken play like this in front of him, because that was not the Ducks game. If they play like this in front of him and he still, has a few that he just whiffs on, and gives up some bad goals, I think we can maybe start that conversation again this year.
Yeah.
But I just want to see a game where they play solidly in front of him.
Exactly. That wasn't that Ducks game for a bunch of reasons. And so yeah, I agree. I think Drew can be that guy. We've seen him be that guy in the past at several places, right? Throughout his career. It's not like it's not in there somewhere. The Kraken just kind of need to find a way of unlocking it with the team in front of him. And you would have ideally that would have happened at some point during the first season, but a lot of things were just off that first season. I don't know that was really going to work for anybody. Even Drieger, right? Kind of he came in at first and it was that way, and then maybe over the course of the season that kind of went away for him as well. So I just think it's just going to take a little bit of time, but I don't know. I'm expecting good things on Saturday.
Yeah, I am too. I think you're going to see a bounce back there if they can, keep this up and play well. I mean, Vegas is doing a good job to start the season, but they're not scoring a ton. Like you
Hmm.
look at Vegas in their first couple games, it's been that kind of low scoring Bruce Cassidy type of
Yep.
system where you're trying to be opportunistic, take advantage of the chances you do get. So I think if Grubauer does come out and play well, he could look really good statistically, and we could be
Yeah.
having kind of a different conversation.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
And then Sean, let's go right onto that. Sean asking, how do we match up against the Vegas Knights for the home opener? Let's look forward to the next game a little bit.
Yeah. So what's the when I think of Vegas, RJ, I think of Mark Stone. I think of the transition game. I don't know about you. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I think of when I think of this Vegas group. I did kind of have one eye on that opening game for them against the Kings. Kind of saw it was an interesting mix of kind of the Cassidy system and what the Golden Knights were kind of built to do. I thought that they were a little less aggressive in the transition game, focused a little bit more defensively. That's where Cassidy comes in, right? Like they were kind of more solid defensively than I had seen them. But the bottom line was when they're in the offensive zone, they are just so dangerous because they know how to activate their defensemen. They know how to involve them in plays. They know how to get them into great places to shoot or distribute the puck. And so everything becomes about winning a board battle down deep, digging it out, getting it back to the blue line, and letting a Petrangelo, a Shea Theodore, and Alec Martinez let them figure out what to do from there. Let them see the ice, give them a good look, and then be ready to pounce on a rebound once it's there. Maybe get, a Colasar, a Carlson, or somebody in a kind of an interesting, unique shooting spot as well. They're kind of really good at finding these little gaps in the defense where it's not quite the slot, but it's not quite out by the face-off dot. You know what I mean? Like they kind of live
Mm-hmm.
in this middle ground, and that can always be interesting. So for the Kraken, I want to see the forwards on the back check be kind of aggressive with the Vegas blue line. Don't give them time. Don't give guys like Petrangelo or Shea Theodore time to distribute the puck, or worse, work their way towards the middle and get a really nice look at the net. You just can't afford to do that with this team. And then as far as otherwise, you've got to be ready to deal with the physicality they're going to throw at you, especially on their forecheck. The defensemen got to be ready. Jamie Alexiak has struggled with that so far this season. I think that's going to be something to watch, and hopefully he can kind of take the day off, get things together a little bit, and be ready because, based on what he's experienced so far behind the Kraken's own net this season, it hasn't looked good, and Vegas is, just loves to do that stuff. So
Yep, they will make
I'm
you
going to
pay
have
for
an eye on that.
mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key, being detail oriented in both zones, because that's what's going to be the difference in this game. I think Vegas is going to spend more time in their own zone than they did the last couple seasons, just by virtue of their
Yeah.
style of play. They're gonna count on their system and their positioning, making sure that the Kraken can't score, that there are no gaps in any of the defense, the defensive lines, basically,
Yep.
when they're set up there. And then in the offensive zone, they're going to try and take advantage of opportunities where the Kraken will hand them things. So again, detail oriented, stay focused. And Alexiak, he does need to be better in that regard. Braun, hey boys, didn't get to watch the game. Would be so thankful for a quick takeaway. How impressive was Jones really? Looked way more comfy than Grub in the highlights. Also, when he got a goal, yay, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fully yay for the Wenny goal.
Yeah, Wenberg, he did it. He shot the puck. He did it. Like, let's go. Well, I mean, look, we got RJ to say Jones was at his best. So there you go, right? That says
That tells you
everything you
everything
need
you
to know
need to
about
know.
Martin Jones. But this was a game, Braun, where they came in, they played physical, and I think they kind of surprised the Kings with how physical they played. I think the Kings were not expecting that. I don't think the Kings were ever able to kind of establish solid footing. We talk a lot about, like I kind of brought up the Wenberg line and how everybody looked like they were playing individually, not really together. The Kings are kind of going through that themselves. They've had a lineup shuffle a little bit, obviously bring in Kevin Fiala. They haven't looked totally solid with each other either, and the Kraken did a really good job of taking advantage of that. They never let the Kings get comfortable in the offensive zone, and when they did, they held them to the back end. They held them to the perimeter. They didn't let them do anything, and because of that, I just don't think the Kings were ever able to get into a rhythm, and that's why it didn't feel like last night against the Ducks. Right, the Ducks were working as this cohesive unit. You could tell they were dangerous together. Those top two lines. It never really felt that way for the Kings, and that's why it didn't really feel like their lead was in danger the way it felt like yesterday.
Yeah, agreed. And I think, like I was thinking, small picture, they fixed the mistakes from yesterday and
Hmm.
came out and fixed those errors. Medium picture, 3 out of 4 possible points on the road trip,
Yeah,
looking really good there. And then big picture, you're definitely better than last season. This team is better
yeah,
than last season,
1000%.
and it's looking better for how this year is going to go. Some questions with Shane Wright and potentially Philip Grubauer still, but that's
Hmm.
kind of the small, medium, big picture of it all. Um, Nathan getting it started for the ahead of the Vegas game already. Vegas pays the refs so they can kick pucks in for goals.
Yeah.
SMH fraud team. Oh boy, here getting it started already.
Yep.
I don't think the rivalry is there on the Vegas end. Hopefully we can get that started. By handing them a loss for the first time. Yeah, some people saying good night. Good night, Michael. Good night, Lindsay. Sweet dreams of many more dubs to come. 81-0-1. Let's go. That'd be
Hey,
fun. Yeah, we are.
somebody's got to be the
Hmm?
first team to do it.
Someone has to do it at some point. Why not us? Um,
Yeah.
Yep. And Patrick, when does the pregame at the beer hall start? So, the beer hall, one of the great things is they always put the Kraken game on the TV, unlike some other bars that people have mentioned. But yeah, they even have it for the pregame show, usually about half an hour before the game. And we will let you know, we will kind of advertise, we'll put it out there ahead of time when I'm going to be there, when we're going to be there, sometimes when we're going to be doing post games there. So stay tuned for all of that. But usually around when the Root pregame starts, kind of about half an hour before the game. So, kind of get there early, get your food, get your drinks set up, and go. And before we head out, I want to thank our sponsor one more time, Queen Anne Beer Hall. I mean, great place to go for games. Show them some love because they chose to partner with us, be part of the ECH community. It's just an awesome partnership too. From last night was so fun. I want to see some Kraken wins there. I know we will. I know we will see plenty this season, and I know at least for some games, game or two, we might have Dylan in attendance, maybe
Yeah.
at Queen Anne Beer Hall. So everyone look forward to that. And Rebecca reminding us to plug the Patreon. Thank
Yeah.
you, Rebecca. I have not done that yet tonight. So pumped up over the win. I just couldn't get over that. But everyone too, check out the Patreon. I fixed the link. It wasn't working on the last stream last night, but the link is working now. Link in the description below. Check out the Patreon. Lots of cool perks there, and it helps us support us and keep us able to do this, doing what we do. Dylan, how much was the parking today, or how bad was it? How much of a dent is this going to be?
You know what? I got down here early enough that I didn't have to pay the game rate. So I'm doing everything I
Nice.
can. Doing everything I can.
Appreciate that, man. All right. See, look at that. Dylan getting there early. So I see he's saving your money from the Patreon there, making
Yep.
sure it's well spent. Give us the most efficient coverage possible. That's how we
Yeah.
roll here. Yeah, awesome. And then Sergeant Pickles, who will be there on Saturday. I'm sure we'll have a ton of people there on Saturday for the home opener. I will be there. My parents will be there. And looking forward to being back in the building. And then Cameron, last thing, held over 100 viewers, mostly all stream. Let's go. Absolutely. Thank you, everyone who joined us tonight. It's so great seeing the triple digits up there, getting that following for these post-game lives. It makes all the difference having everyone here. Such a great community. Happy to be doing these again. Any words, Dylan, before we sign off?
No, actually, I was just going to try to answer Nathan's question here because I also kind of have a question about it. Nathan asked, the defender made a play on the puck that Matty deflected in for a goal. If the defender instead deflects it and accidentally puts it in his own goal, does it count? So, like on a high stick, RJ, like that. Let's say
Yeah.
Matty deflects it down with a high stick and then a defender accidentally puts it in their own goal. It would be blown dead for that high stick, right?
Well, no, because I think once the defender touches it, then it's like waved off and clear. Is that not? Unless it hits the goal, because if it goes off the goalie or something, then that doesn't count. But I
then
think
that
if a
wouldn't
defender
count.
touches it, then that puck is
Yeah,
clear.
I guess so.
I believe.
Yeah.
So I will make sure we have the right answer on that. I'll look that up afterwards. So okay, I think they're telling you it's time to go.
Hey, there we go.
Okay, there we go. All right. So Oh, Sergeant Pickles super chat won't cover parking, but here's Gatorade money. Thank you so much, Sergeant Pickles. Dylan, absolutely. After doing the back-to-back games, he could use a Gatorade. Go out and get a Gatorade, Dylan.
Definitely.
And have a safe drive home. We will see you on Saturday from the comfort of your own home in your studio again. Looking forward to that and seeing all the good nights from everybody here in the chat. Good night, and Dylan.
Good night. See you all next time.